what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Now this is the 5th installment in the MonsterVerse film franchise, and the plot is about the film is Godzilla teaming up with King Kong to take on like a new threat from Hollow Earth that has been like hidden away. Now this film was like fun and like entertaining, but it is still certain things about it that keeps it from like elevating to being like, I think, like a real good solid film. But I thought it was still pretty decent. Now I also saw this in the IMAX 3D, like in the theaters, and I must admit the 3D visuals in this particular film, they really stood out. It's like the stuff is really coming out the screen. Like it's like when it comes on, like in Kong is like running around like in the Hollow Earth, it looks like he's about to run out the screen. I'm not kidding. I thought the 3D visuals, like the 3D effects in this particular film, were pretty decent. Now this again is directed by Adam Wingard, and he also directed Godzilla vs. Kong. Now the film has Rebecca Hall, like she's like, I guess you could say the protagonist of the film. She plays Dr. Eileen Andrews, and then you also have Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Bernie Hayes. And you know he's there to provide like the usual like comic relief and stuff like that. Then you also have Dan Stevens as Trapper, Katie Hotto as Gia. I think it's Gia. I forgot. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And there's also like a bunch of like other like characters like a touch on. But the film does really revolve around them bulk of like characters. Plus, if it's not focused on them, like exploring like Hollow Earth, it's focused on Godzilla going around the Earth taking on various like titans, and he's like constantly like charging up, getting his power like up real like super strong for like a bigger threat, and everybody's trying to find out what this particular threat is. Now Dr. Eileen Andrews, apparently she knows that something like is drawing like something that's going on, I think like in Hollow Earth, and they have to pursue like the location of this particular thing that's like drawing them. And I think they even know that's drawing like Godzilla too as well, because at one point King Kong comes up from Hollow Earth because he's having like a tooth there, like when his tooth is like decayed or like I think infected, and they had to use like this big machine to go down and remove the tooth from him. So I thought that was pretty cool, yeah, because the Trapper does, Dan Stevens, like he's there to kind of support King Kong. That's when they start finding out about this like something going on like in Hollow Earth, and it turns out, I don't want to spoil the film, but it turns out like a previous like creature that Godzilla fought like way like in the past, I believe before there was even like humans or whatever, and Godzilla apparently locked this particular creature away, which is known as the Scar King, and the Scar King is the antagonist of this particular film. And I must admit, I did thought that he looked pretty cool, because he's like about the size of like I think King Kong. He's just like some more sleeker and like slimmer, but he has like this weapon that he has. It's made of like bones. It looks like a spine or something, like a chain made of bones, and it has like this glowing knife on it that he can throw around and swing it around. So I thought he was like a cool looking like a character. He's like very like evil and like mean and so on. But there's also like another monster in this particular film too as well. I think they call it Shimo, and this is kind of spoiler territory, because they didn't even kill this monster from not even being seen like in the trailers. I know at one point you can see his eyes going like the white eyes. That was this particular monster. Now apparently the Scar King has control over this particular monster with this like this knife thing that's attached to like his chain that he has. It has like the ability to control this like monster, which breathes like ice, like freeze ice. Because at one point it had froze like King Kong's arm. His arm got damaged from like frostbite. So the Trapper, of course, he had to make like that armor thing that you see on King Kong's like arm, like in the trailer. He had to make that for him like to help heal this arm, and you know, so he can go on and keep fighting. But other than that, there's like a lot of like monstrous like moments, and there's like some hidden like moments, like some like monsters, some like I guess you could say Godzilla films who make an appearance too as well. That I think was kind of surprising to fans. But like, I think like the moments where it's like a lot of humor, like for Brian Henry, like who plays Bernie Hayes, like his character did provide like a lot of like comic relief like moments. He's always like throwing like these like jokes, like one-liners. So I thought that was kind of funny. And I thought Eileen Andrews, she was played by Rebecca Hall. I thought Rebecca Hall did a pretty good job in her role too as well. And she's there to be like the mother of like I think it's Katie Hotto, who has visions of something going on in Hollow Earth, and that's another reason why they went down into Hollow Earth to investigate like what was going on for Gia, like her visions in Hollow Earth. And at one point throughout the film, like Kong comes across like this little like ape, little like gorilla known as I think Suko, like the brown looking one, that's like a kid. and they kind of get into like confrontations and so on. The kid does seem like very evil at first because he lures like King Kong into traps and all that kind of stuff. He can be almost killed, but eventually like they become like friends and so on. So I thought that was pretty cool. But he was kind of like an interesting like little character like known as Suko. I think that's what they call it, Suko. That's what they call him. And but there are like various different monsters that you see like Godzilla take on, I think like Destroyer and all them kind of like different versions like that he take on throughout the film, like 'cause he's charging up to take on this particular beast. Because him and King Kong do eventually, man, that's another weak point of the film too. I kind of saw it coming. It's a spoiler territory, but King Kong and Godzilla, like they don't really show up or meet together. It's like almost at the end of the film. That's when they actually show up and get together to take on like the Scar King and Shinmu. That's when they actually really show up, so they don't really be together throughout the film. They just come in at the end of the film. But throughout the whole film, it's like visually, like it's like tons, and like it's very like high tech, like on the sci-fi, like the science fiction stuff, like the ships, like the gadgets and like the weaponry and armor. It's like very like visually like high tech, like science fiction. I thought that was kind of interesting about this film. It does sound like it's not like really like it's a monster film, but it's like it's really like a science, it's like a strong like science fiction film. There's like a lot of like science fiction like elements in it. But eventually like Kong and Godzilla do meet. They actually get into a brawl again. You know, and Kong uses like his new arm on him too. But then they eventually make up, and then they go take out the new threat, Scar King. There's also like an Easter egg kind of at the end. Well, not what is it? I think it's kind of towards the end of the film, if I can remember correctly. But other than that though, it was still like a fun film. Like the monster vibes were kind of fun and everything like that. But I felt like it kind of drags at times, like especially like when the characters of like Dr. Eileen and Bernie and Hayes and like the Trapper and Vijaya, when they're exploring Hard Earth, it seemed like it's kind of like dragging there. But in that, I thought it was like a decent film. It was okay. I would still recommend it for like fans, of these kind of like type films, because it is like very like over the top, like with the monsters and the visuals and all that. It's very over the top. And like I mentioned before, I thought the 3D was pretty good on this, because I saw it in IMAX too, like in the theater. But in Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, I'm gonna give it a C. And like I say, I thought it was like a decent film. It was like great. It just was certain things I felt that were just keeping it from taking off. But the battles, like the monster fights and all that, I thought was still fun. And like I said, the science fiction look to the film is like very like heavy. And this film really feels like it's just like a straight up science fiction film. Like the gadgets, like the flying aircrafts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm giving this a C. And please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.